Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode of the Not the 76 O'Clock News. And it is not the 76 O'Clock News. Yes, it is. Because there is no news about Fallout 76. Yay! I think. There isn't, is there? I don't think so. Pretty sure there is none. Plenty of news here. Really, I suppose, in the world of Gopher. Number one, I got my desk. Now, I think I had it for the last podcast. Excuse me, hiccup. But it's built. I've been using it this week. It's brilliant. I am now stood podcasting at you, which is cool. I'm sort of used to the standing now. Got used to it pretty quickly. And everything is going fine. I've got a few new minor pieces of equipment in place that I had for a while, but I was sort of waiting until the new desk came. A new microphone arm, exactly the same as the last one. A new pop filter that's a little smaller and less, well, literally in your face than the last one. And yeah, so I didn't have it for the last podcast because I cancelled the podcast because that was the day it arrived. Yes, that is right. So the desk is fine. The desk is good. All hail the desk. The family are fine and they're still here and still being very, very loud, as you would expect. They are off the rest of this week, and next week is Easter here in Norway. D Hunter, thank you for the resub. So they're going to be home next week because of Easter anyway. Don't know if they'll be leaving the house because of the whole self-isolation thing. And I have a feeling they will not be going back to school the week after. I cannot imagine we are going to be going back to normal anytime soon. So this is how it's going to be. It's making it a little difficult to do much in the way of the Skyrim Let's Plays. Maybe I can get 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes a week done. Luckily, I am very far ahead. I'm close to finishing Chapter 7, which is good, because that means I will have things to post for the next month or so, maybe, 2 months if we're in isolation without getting too far behind. And I will be focusing on tutorials, as you've already seen. I'm going to be trying to get the tutorials sorted. I'm enjoying doing it, actually. It's given me this sort of perfect excuse, almost. I don't have to keep up with 6 episodes of Let's Plays per week. And because I've forged ahead in Skyrim, I've got the time now to focus on the tutorials. Will it only be Skyrim for the foreseeable future? No, Skyrim plus tutorials. Probably New Vegas for a while on the tutorials. But if you mean Let's Plays, yes. It's just I cannot play. Oh, thank you, Fire and Ice, gifting 5 subs to people. So yeah, it's very, very difficult to record. I managed to get 1 episode of Skyrim done this week. I'm hoping to get another one, maybe 2, before the week ends. But it's not hugely easy. Family they're trying their best to be quiet, but they go like 5 minutes and then something will happen. Now it's okay for tutorials because something happens. I can sort of stop recording, go out and sort it out, come back in, keep going from where I left off. You can't do that with a Let's Play. So it is sort of, unfortunate, but there you have it. People like Skyrim anyway. There's a lot of people liking the Skyrim. I'm going to talk about that in a second, actually, because there is some issue there. But yeah, so I don't know how long this is going to be for, but we're handling it. We're making the best of it. We are making the best of it. Level 2, Moonsongstress. Thank you for the resub. So yeah. The quarantine thing was fun at the beginning, but getting old fast. So, yeah. What else? What other news? Oh, yeah. Right, my tutorials. Uploaded episode 5 today, the draft for the Q&A testers, viewers to view and give me feedback on. Tell me if I made any mistakes, and I got copyright struck by a company who are well known for doing this. So I've been trying to cut down jingle jangle as much as humanly possible. I'm trying not to use that much music that's not quite specifically, very specifically owned by either the game, like, and I mean, say in Fallout 4, the Fallout 4 soundtrack, not a record that appears in the game on a radio or something. I've been trying to do that now for a while. I've been trying to cut down how much I use, even of things like Jingle Jangle. But I thought Jingle Jangle was safe. I thought that was one of these old songs that's no longer, but apparently not. And they hit me for it. So I'd pull it, and I've shrunk the amount of that song down to 4 seconds without me talking. Because there was a bit, it was about 11 seconds where I didn't talk and it was playing, and that's what they hit me for. So I've cut it down to 4 seconds, and I'm going to see. But once this tutorial series has ended, I am probably going to stop using that music now that I know. It's the first time, it is the first time I've ever been hit for that track. I was tempted to remove it from this video, but seeing as there's only going to be about 6 or maybe 7 episodes in this tutorial, it just felt a bit like, I don't want to change the music halfway through, so if I can just about nudge it. But if it appears and then in 2 months' time I get hit with a copyright thing, I think I can remove the snippet of music. YouTube now have a thing for it, so I'm hoping. But the good news is the company in question couldn't claim it and monetize it, which is great. They couldn't make any money from it. All they could do is stop me monetizing it. So that's all that happened. It stopped me monetize. So YouTube have actually made quite a few improvements in this. It's a lot better because of this. If these companies find you and go, oh, you're not allowed to do that, they can say that, but that's it. It demonetizes. They don't get any money, which gives a lot less incentive for them to be doing the old, let's spam everyone and get everything. This was not a manual claim either. It was an automatic one. So it was the Content ID thing. So I suspect it was just because I was silent for too long during that bit. And for some reason it just hit me. So, but I'm going to be a lot more careful. How expensive is it to license it? Well, probably hideous. If I was licensing music like that, I'd be making a loss. Let's put it that way on the videos. I'd be paying more in the license than I would earning in the video, hands down, quite easily. So, not even thinking. Plus, as Wolfclaw says, I'd probably still get hit anyway, because these automated systems are absolutely awful. In YouTube's defense, they are between a rock and a hard place. So I sympathize, and I just do the best I can and get around it. It's there. No, I didn't actually realize it was. I didn't realize it was one of those songs. Actually, I thought that was one of those public domain ones. But apparently not. Apparently, there's some people out there who's just, it's a bit annoying. But there you go. Anyway, so that's that. I'm just going to be a lot more careful, and if it happens again, I'll probably just stop using that. And there is a function that will let me remove it. So anyway, level 2 hype train. Level 2 hype train. Nice. Okay, so what else for this week? Right. One thing, this is a new thing. There is a new thing. It's actually that new. I have had a few people over the last year complain that my videos, especially my Skyrim ones, are too dark. But not the usual sort of, oh, it's really, really dark. Can you stop using the darkness mods? People saying, your videos are pitch black. I can barely even see lights. You know, there's a candle on and I can barely see the candle. Yeah. And I'm like, that sounds a bit weird. That sounds a little weird. I mean, I understand maybe you're saying it's a bit dark, but people are saying it's pitch black. And I'm like, well, if it was pitch black, everyone would be saying it, but people are not. However, enough people said it that I was like, something's got to be going on here. There can't be this many people who have not got their monitors calibrated. So I went off and I tested it on a ton of different devices, like old laptops and things. And it was fine on my render rig. It was fine on my gaming rig. It's fine on my mobile phone. My laptop, it was really dark. Like, really dark. There was no difference between dim greys and dark blacks. None. So as soon as you went into a dark area or it got slightly, like, you know, it was like mid-evening and it was beginning to get a bit dim and shadowy and you're in the shadow of a tree, it was really impossible to see. And I cannot explain it because that particular laptop is actually my decent laptop, the one I bought so that I can do stuff while abroad or whatever, and if I'm doing a business meeting. It's got a 4K display. It's phenomenal. It is a phenomenal. It's nothing to do with the max brightness either, because if I crank the brightness up on this, the white, I mean, it's at 90% brightness, but if I put it any higher, the white from like, you know, like windows and things is actually painful. This laptop is really crystal clear. Really crystal clear. And yeah. Black. Does it have to do with HDR? Don't know. I tried turning HDR on and off. Didn't make much difference. Tried enhancing the video using the settings that come with the Windows. Made it slightly easier to view. I'm going to play with it some more. I'm going to drop it from 4K because I don't need the 4K screen. It's just because that's how it came. I will drop it back down to something more manageable and see if it's that. I honestly do not know because my mobile phone, which is a Samsung, so it's got a good screen, it's crystal clear. It looks exactly the way it looks in game. So, sorry to repeat, but Windows 10 night mode. I'm not totally sure what Windows 10 night mode is. I can test it, but I know it's not on my laptop. I do know it's not on. I don't know what it is. So, yeah. That does make me realise there's probably a certain percentage of the people out there who are saying it's just too dark have really got a point. It's too bloody. Does the laptop have a dedicated graphics card? I don't remember. Can we not focus on? Don't focus on that because I don't know. I do not know what the issue is. I've got a lot more testing and tweaking. I just discovered this, right? I've just discovered this. So I'm going to have to care to post the model number of the notebook. It's the Yoga 920. It's the Lenovo Yoga 920. So could it be the panel contrast? Could be. Don't actually know. I am going to have to do a lot of more testing and research, and I might try talking to the people who do. I may even make another video about this and see if I can get some facts from people who do find it too dark to see if there's a commonality. To see if there is right now Apocalypso has put his finger on the massive problem now. Adjusting it for laptops might screw it up for other devices. I don't think it's adjusting it for laptops though. I think it's just going to be certain screens, but I get what you're saying. Adjusting it for people who have this problem could be like counterproductive because then everyone else will be like, oh, it's all bright and washed out. So, maybe look into if your laptop only has 6-bit color depth. No, it does not. But I will. I mean, I'll check. As I said, though, this is a bloody good laptop. This is a bloody good laptop. It's not a cheap laptop, and it's got a superb screen. So this is why I'm at the moment taking this claim seriously from people. So I've been doing some testing. Now, one of the things I can tell you, let me just, I'm actually going to boot up the game now. Alternate playlist with brightened graphics. I do not have time to do that, but also I don't think it would help. Because when I brighten the graphics on these things, it just makes everything look washed out. I would probably have to really do some... I'd probably have to get very creative to make it viewable for their panels, I think. Let me just... I'm going to... Right. Just picking... Got a bit of a scene here. Got a bit of a scene here. Oh, I don't actually... Oh. Right. So, that is straight from my game rig right now, okay? And that, to me, is lovely. There's a light bit around the fire, there's some good shading, and there's a dark spot on the stairway or the ramp going up, and that's where Leonard would hide. I can see where Leonard would hide, yeah? You cannot see the left half of the screen. Right. Right, let me turn off the overlay. If I can. Yeah, right. You should be able to see the rocks in the bottom left. Right, the ramp, I can see, if you look where the barrel is on the table, you can see it's a ramp because you can see the planks sticking out and they're not stairs. But I cannot see the ramp itself either. On my main monitor, I can just about maybe see some gaps and maybe make it out. But I couldn't tell you, right? So, that ramp is dark. That is where Leonard would stand. There is almost no light there. There is almost no light there. You can see the handrail, maybe? You can see the handrail, and you can see all the planks. You can see the planks to the right of the handrail, just about, the edges of them, against the dark background. But that is how I know. Obviously, I'm also seeing it on far higher resolution than you are. Okay. So you can already see some people are having even more difficulty. But it is dark. It is dark there. But the night vision on, it's still actually dark. Because the night vision only works if there's some light around. And there's just no light there. The game has... Oh, there's some boots at the bottom of the... Yeah, you can see the boots. You can see the boots. Now, what I did notice, though, was the Elgato is set up on Streamlabs, what I'm streaming from, with color range set to partial. And, oh God, excuse me, Now, I'm going to change the color range to default and see if anything changes. No, it didn't. Right. I'm going to change the color range to full now and see. Right. That is full color range. Right. My guess is you guys can see a lot more now, right? You can see much clearer. But does it look washed out? It does. It looks well. Thank you. So it does look washed out, foggy. Right. Yeah. Okay. So it's not just me then. It isn't just me. Right. Okay. So, and yet some people are saying better. Visibility might be better, but does it look washed out? Because brightness slider. Right, well, the brightness slider might help a little bit, but probably only with the ambient. The colours are crap. Exactly, the colours are crap. And that is the problem. Because I've gone for full range. And whenever you send full range colour from one computer to another, it really doesn't look good at all. That looks nothing like the image I'm seeing in game. In game, when I look at the image in game, it looks so much richer and warmer, and the shadows are much deeper, and it's overall. So this is what you're seeing is not what I see in game. But some people seem to need it. I'm going to change it back. That is half again. Now I will tell you, when I look at it, it looks maybe a slightly bit darker on the Streamlabs OBS preview. Maybe. But it's a difficult one. So now it looks better, doesn't it? It looks better, right? It's a bit too dark. Right, but this is supposed to be... this is why I picked this scene. I picked this scene because basically there's a dark spot. There's a bright spot there. And there's a light spot... sorry, a dark spot here. Now, when I look at the wood here, I can see the texture of the wood in-game. I cannot see the texture of the wood on the preview for Streamlabs. You can barely see the grain. I can't see it on the preview. Can you see it? You see it as total black. Right. And I think some people can see it faintly, some people can barely see it, some people cannot see it. And that's the problem. It's when you get into those dark areas, you're going to get all sorts of differences, but more importantly, you're getting compression, which is never going to be as good. I'm actually going to look at the stream. Do you want to know the weird thing, though? Do you want to know the really weird thing? When I look at the stream, when I look at the bloody stream, which is on the laptop now, it doesn't look as bad as the video looked. I don't get this. I am looking at the stream on the same laptop that I was watching my videos earlier, and I'll tell you now, if I was watching this on YouTube, I would see nothing except for maybe where the candle is burning over there and the fire, but I wouldn't have seen the boots or anything like that. The boots would have been... I don't think it's the monitor. I do not think it's the monitor. No, I don't think it's YouTube's compression either, because when I watch the YouTube video on other monitors, it's fine. Ugh, that is frustrating. That is really monumentally frustrating, because I mean, it's dark. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking at the stream. I see what you guys are saying. It is dark, and it is slightly harder to see things. I'm gonna put that rock in the corner, and it is. I'll tell you now, it's a lot harder to see the rock in the bottom left corner on my laptop than it is on either of the machines I'm playing on. It is. So the laptop definitely is harder to see, but the YouTube thing was catastrophically bad. Right. So what I might start doing is adding a tiny brightness filter, just a teeny tiny boost, and see what happens. Like, you know, 1% or something to the video. I could also, I mean, I can also, I don't want you guys to see too much and get, not that you can't figure out. I mean, I could, see the brightness is dead center. I could just increase, I mean, I can crank, oh no I can't, I'm using an EMB. It doesn't actually change anything, does it? No, I don't think it, did that change anything? Don't think it changes anything, actually. You think the problem lies in the fact that in the full colour range, the image is washed out. That usually happens if you expect full colour range at the receiving end but get a limited range signal. Right. Is there a way I can increase the signal to full range then? I don't think there is. Or is there? Maybe there is. Maybe I can change my computer settings to do full range. But then I don't know how that's going to be. I think I need to play around with it. Check the NVIDIA control panel. Yeah, so I think I need to be doing some serious checking of things. Okay, so it would be under desktop color settings. Would it be? What would it be? What would it be under? Adjust video color settings. I'm not changing anything. It is under resolution. All right, under resolution. All right, I'm using the default color settings. Maybe I should use the NVIDIA color settings. Maybe I should try using the NVIDIA color settings, output dynamic range to full, and see what happens. Doesn't look much different to me. Does not look much different to me. All right. Now I've set it to full. Let's go back in game, and I'm gonna hide everything for a while because I don't want you guys to see too many of the saves actually, because obviously I'm way ahead of you. I'm pretty sure most of you can figure out what's happening and where we're going to be going, but you know, I want to leave some mystery. Now, the big problem is even if we fix this, I'm like 40 episodes in, so this chapter's already too dark, but maybe if I'm wondering if there's a way for me to re-render the videos I've already made before I upload them and stretch the color range. I don't think I can though. It's all right, let's just take... Right, I'm going back to the game rig. Right, so we're back at the game rig. I've now done full... Do you want to know something? I think I can see more. Now, I haven't changed the Elgato yet. I need to change the Elgato color range full. No, that still looks washed out, doesn't it? That still looks bloody washed out. That looks washed out. I mean, that's just not nice, is it? Turn the contrast on the EMB. No, but here's the thing. The problem isn't the EMB. What you've got to remember is I'm looking at the game, which looks nice. And I feel like I've got slightly better visibility. I think I've got slightly... But that's horrible. What you're seeing, because I can see that as well, is... Let me just change the colour space to 601. Maybe that's the trick. Nope, that didn't do a damn thing. I mean, it's not... Yeah. The acquisition card can handle the full range. I think so, but I might need to double check. And I can't do that while streaming. So this might be one of those things where what I'll need to do is test it off. Right, so that's back to partial. Maybe I need to change my hardware settings as well. I think I need to play around with this. Because I think visibility has improved slightly there for me on my monitor. I feel like my visibility is better, and yet still I get that lovely sensation of shadows. I mean, I'm still having difficulty seeing things, but I can still see the grain. I don't know, but... Yeah. Maybe the people who are complaining just need to deal with it. No, because that's the thing. I've seen what they see on my laptop, and I realise, yeah, it's not watchable. There's no way to deal with it. There is no way to deal with it. I looked at it and thought, it's bloody horrible. It did look weird. Not dark, weird. It looked weird. It's so difficult to describe. It looked like some strange black filter was on it. Look at the image you're looking at right now, and imagine all of the dark areas suddenly just went black. You could see the fire, you could see bits of the floor, but everything else just went black. It looked weird. It looks a little better to you. It might be. I'm going to test it. It could just be all in our imagination. It's not the EMB though. It definitely isn't the EMB. Let me just make sure I'm not. All right. So, right, that's no ENB. That's no ENB. That's ENB off. ENB on. ENB off. ENB on. ENB off. I'm thinking on is brighter, right? The only difference would be you see the corpse at the bottom of the stairs. When it's off now, you can see slightly better his thigh. You can see his thigh. Even though there's no way in hell you should be able to see his thigh because it's under a big fur thing. Right? Whereas with the ENB on, it shades it a bit better, right? Yeah, I mean you see it. But look at the particle lights from both the candles. And even the fire. Again, I'm going to put it on. Look at the light around the area around the fire. Now, ENB. Yeah, ENB is not the problem. I don't use ENB to make everything darker or lighter. If anything, it makes things lighter. One thing I can tell you is ENB is the reason I sometimes get a bit of snow blindness. And I am trying to find ways to deal with that. Although I also have to tell you, snow blindness is not unrealistic. If it is a really bright sunny day with a blue sky and the world is covered in snow, it can be painful. But I appreciate for viewability sometimes the snow blindness can be too much. But that's the thing. The way I've set my A&B, if anything, it boosts the light. The only way I will get this game lighter is if I remove ELE. That's what I would have to do. I would have to remove ELE. And I am willing to consider it. ELE, by the way, is the mod that makes this scene dark. Without ELE... can I even show you? I might be able to show you. Because I did some testing earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Test shots. Which one was it? Oh, right. No, what? The only test shots I've got so far are ones for the college. Let me just see if I can copy these across. This might not work. No, it's not going to. Unfortunately, it's not going to. Right. What's happening when you activate full color is contrast is reduced. Why don't you leave LE on but increase contrast in the ENB settings? No, well that's the thing. I'm not having a problem when I view it. Increasing contrast in ENB would make it look worse for me and for everyone who's not having this problem. I mean, I could do that and that would fix it for other people, but it would make my game... Does my laptop have a HDR display? I don't know. I'm going to have to find these things out, and I'm not going to do that on stream. That's the thing. I'm not having a problem when I look at that screen. It looks beautiful to me. Hopefully after the podcast he'll read my comment. He's too busy now. Maybe. Yeah, someone. My laptop is the Yoga 920 Lenovo. And it's the one with the 4K panel. So that should give you guys. So, as I said, I don't think the in-game settings are the problem because it looks great to me and it looks fine to most of the viewers. It's like, 90% of the viewers, 95% of the viewers are saying, no, it looks fine. Sometimes they say, oh God, it was a bit dark, but that's usually the points where I'm going, wow, it's dark here. And that is very true in Dawnguard. Dawnguard has a lot of very dark dungeons. In actual fact, Dawnguard added lots of dark dungeons even without mods. It added a few places that were just bloody dark. So when I go, oh wow, it's dark, and people go, yeah, it's dark, that's fine. It's when I'm having no problem seeing and people are going, it's pitch black for me. That's the problem, and that's not in-game settings. That is either my footage recording settings, and even then it doesn't seem likely that's the case because everyone else is not having that problem. But then that leaves YouTube settings or certain hardware settings, and I don't know how to get around it. I think the only thing I could do, and there is something I could do, the only thing I could do is remove ELE. If I remove ELE, see if I can remember which plugins I have to remove. No, those people are not blind, Torch Red Cobra. I've said, I finally see what they see. I managed to get what they're seeing on my laptop. I never watch YouTube videos, at least not that sort of video, on my laptop. In fact, I very rarely watch anything on my laptop. It is there for business stuff. But I stream it, and I've just streamed, and it didn't look that much darker than what I see. What about leaving LE but reduce the contrast on the video editing software? Well, again, the problem there is that will just make everything look really washed out. You see, ELE doesn't just add tons of contrast. A lot of people think that if you deepen shadows and add lights, it's the same as increasing the contrast. It just isn't. It's not remotely the same, I'm afraid. So my laptop seems to have automatic brightness adjustment. It probably does, but I have it switched off. I manually set my brightness. Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to disable. I'm going to disable. I need to disable several. I need to disable Dynalord, the bash patch, and a couple of the ELE patches and ELE SE. Okay, right. I can do. There you go. So, because again, I don't have a problem when I look at it, and neither does about 95% of the people. So if I increase the contrast, all it will actually do is darken the dark areas and lighten the light areas, but it won't. It'll actually look like a filter. When you just crank contrast up on something where there's no, where it's very dark, it usually doesn't work well. Because here's the thing. Because if that worked, the people on those laptops could just do the same at their end. And they're saying it doesn't do anything, which I would have been stunned. So here you go. Right, I've got ELE removed, I think. So there you go. You can all now clearly see the ramp. Yeah, so it's now perfectly visible. From a viewer experience, you've now got perfect view. Where would Leonard hide? That's not a well-lit cave. That is a studio lit cave. In fact, that is a really well studio lit cave. That is a cave that has got very well placed, powerful, even expensive LED lights placed just out of view in some places. That's how smooth the lighting is. You know, to get light that even on that back wall over there, yeah, no, that's... yeah, that's ambient light. That's what we call ambient light. It's the sort of light that doesn't come from a source. And it's horrible. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand you want to be able to see things. And I am willing to remove said lights from, tweaks from, shall we say, the College of Winterhold. One of the things I do notice is the College of Winterhold is very, very dark. Even, you know, and I'm using Obscure's Overhaul, and it's an amazing overhaul. He's updated it. You guys saw it in today's episode. Phenomenal, but it is dark. And if I remove the tweaks for ELA in the college, it loses a lot of that ambience, that Harry Potter ambience. But you could argue, yeah, but it's magic. It's magic. There's magic light everywhere. And okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But a cave? I mean, really? Is this scary? Is this scary? This is not scary. This is... I mean, look at this. This is not scary. But more importantly... if this was the Richard playthrough, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But it's the Leonard playthrough. Stop pushing me. Where is Leonard supposed to be hiding? Yeah. Inigo's already whistled the Harry Potter music. Yeah. But it's, I mean, look. This is where Leonard would have tried hiding. Yeah, it probably does. I mean, look at it. He's not hiding. He's not hiding. That is this. It's as bright here as it is. Well, everywhere. Everywhere's equally bright. So yeah. So I don't know. I mean, this is what I would have to do. And it robs it. I think it robs it somewhat. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Does ELE affect the AI detection? No, it does not. But I'm using a mod that does. I'm using a mod that does. And the mod I'm using emphasizes line of sight and light way more than skill, which is why Inigo constantly gets spotted, because even though he is 100 skill in stealth, he stands in stupid places. But I'm okay with that. That kind of adds this. It makes it so that Inigo's not that stealthy unless he stands still in a place I place him. And I'm okay with that, because that gives that little element of danger. And it also makes Leonard the sneaky one. So I'm okay with that. But you have to think about stealth with the mods I've got installed. And I like that as well. I do. I love that. So, you know, Leonard, even though he's 100 stealth and he can use potions that make him 180% more effective at sneaking, and he's got boots on that are muffled, and he's used the muffle spell, he will get seen all the time because he's trying to sneak in a stupid place where nobody could sneak. And I love that. I love that. I love that. So... yeah. So, not really found a solution for this, have I? Right. So, yeah. Well, you guys at least have helped me focus a little bit on what possibly is the problem here. So that is good. Please, I'm keeping ELE. I'm keeping ELE. I am. I can't not. I can't not. But I get it. But here's the thing. When I was watching that video, there was a bit where Leonard was riding back to Solitude and it was like about 7 o'clock at night. So it was a bit dim. It was a bit dim using Obsidian Weathers. It was bloody dark on that laptop. So even Obsidian Weathers, which does not have very dark nights, it's got darkish nights, but they're not that dark, was too dark. It's a problem with the laptop. Well, yeah, it's a problem with something. Yeah, I mean that's it, right? That is it. Yeah. So here is the college. Here is the college with ELE, with the ELE pouch.
How do you know if a dragon has been in your garden? Your
I think
livestock
that's
are dead,
perfect.
And your home is gone.
I get
It's
it.
not
It's
a
probably
joke.
a little
Dragons know
dark.
matter.
It's probably a little dark on the stream. I'm looking at the stream from my laptop and it looks a little too dark. It looks a little too dark on my laptop. But on my streaming rig and on my game rig, that looks gorgeous. That looks fine. That is great. It's dark in certain places. But the desk is well lit. The areas where the candles are well lit. I can see I can see everything. There's nothing here that I cannot see. But when I look at the stream that you're looking at, but I look at it on my laptop, I can see areas where I can't see much at all. So, it's applicable lighting given the actual light sources, and that's it, isn't it? So yeah, I do not know what I'm going to do, but I am going to try. I mean, what I might be able to do, I can change the contrast of the shadows with the ELE by editing the values in the ESP file. Yeah, I do. I've already done that. I've actually boosted. I'm not using the default ELE settings. You'll notice in my mod list there's an ELE tweaks. I actually increased the brightness a little for ELE. I've tweaked the brightness and contrast a little for ELE, so it's not as aggressive as the default ELE mod. So I'm using what you might call a ELE light. It's not totally light, it's not that far off ELE, but it's brighter than ELE. And I'm also using an ENB where I've boosted the light levels a little bit as well. So overall, when you look at my game, it's brighter noticeably than it would have been with the default ENB. So, yeah. And I mean, of course, when I'm playing now, I do try to, you know, I can't do that here. That's really weird. I do now try to, you know, use the lights more because it is pleasant. Or the torch bug light, for example, which I'm not using at the moment. I do try to use those to help with visibility, or a torch, because the torch light is actually quite nice. So I do try to help with visibility for people. But, you know, I don't know. I'm between a rock and a hard place here, because most people find it viewable. And the only way I can make it viewable for everyone is to make it either washed out, I'd have that really washed out look, or just remove ELE. So it wouldn't look washed out, but it would look bland and boring. That seems to be the choices I have. But I am going to play around with the hardware settings, because maybe if I increase the range on the hardware, assuming it's only accepting partial at the moment, maybe it would make a bigger difference between the dark areas, because it's very hard to describe the difference between that some monitors have when it comes to grades of dark. That's the really difficult thing. That is the really difficult area, getting the different gradients of dark to actually be noticeably different. So I will play around. I will give it my college best, so to speak. I'm loving the new music in the college. I am actually giving serious thought to doing another Skyrim mod sanctuary about a mod I've just done a mod sanctuary about. because he's... I don't know if you've seen today's episode. If you guys not seen today's episode, I'll try not to spoil it too much. His latest update is phenomenal. His latest... It is just absolutely staggering. He's done a brilliant job. He has done an absolutely brilliant job. I was blown away by how well he's kept to the vanilla concept and made the place feel so much more alive and so much larger. Obscure's College Overhaul. It, along with immersive college NPCs and there's 3 mods, and taken together they're superb. The original version of this mod though didn't touch the main tower at all. What it did is it added 2 extra side towers. The vanilla game has 1 large tower and 2 small side towers. Obscure's just added 2 more side towers, which effectively doubled the size of the college when it came to rooms. And it added teaching rooms and things, and it was brilliant. It was a really nice mod that made it feel more alive, but still kept the vanilla feel. But he's now done the main tower as well. And it's staggering how much more like a college it feels. I was really, really impressed. So... yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to downplay any other of the Overhaul mods, but Obscures has now become the Overhaul in my opinion. He's made it phenomenal. The only thing I want now is I want to see a few more NPCs to fill the Hall of Elements. I would love to see certain parts of the day where Tolfdir is giving a lecture and there'd be like all the students and things sat down. I really do. I think that would be awesome. But, you know. Yeah. Oi, 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 oi. So anyway, that was the news that was all the Gopher news, and that's pretty much us out of time. More or less. Sorry, I'm really sort of, yeah. So yeah, anyway, I suppose the long and short of it is I am aware of the fact that there is a small percentage of people who are having a lot of difficulty seeing the game when it gets dark. And I am trying now. I am trying my best to spend more time in the light. I use the night vision when it works, but I'm trying to do more sleep during the day, the night, you know, and do the traveling during the day. I've always tried to do that. But I'm going to do even more. I'm going to use the light more. But I don't want to remove ELE. And I can't just brighten the game. I mean, I actually can't just brighten the game because I'm using an EMB which brightens it already. But like, I could tweak my EMB settings and make the game super bright, but it would be horrible for me. Yeah, I will try to alleviate the problem, and I will look into finding ways, maybe in the render, I can boost brightness by, you know, like 2%. Nothing much, so you don't get a washed out look, but maybe it'll just push it a little bit and make it a little bit easier to see for you guys. So that's what I might do. I might re-look at all the, because I've rendered all the videos for the next month and a half as well, but I can re-render them. I don't mind doing that. And then just, you know, tweak it. YouTube has different compression algorithms for different devices. Do you think that could be it? Do you think it's just different devices? I just wouldn't. I don't see why my laptop would need a different compression to my desktop at all. I just do not. See, any extra streams in the works now? You're far ahead with recording. Probably not. No, I'm back on full day shift. Actually, believe it or not. I don't know why, but I am completely on day shift. And in fact, I actually think it's partly because of the desk, because I'm now standing. I'm finding it easier to sleep during the night, which could be a big indicator that this was really a good idea for my health. But it means I'm going to be, I'm going to be awake during the day, which means I have to do work that basically I can just stop and start constantly, which is why I'm doing tutorials. Anything where I'm supposed to just stay still for half an hour, it's very difficult to do because kids not be wanting to stay quiet and still for half an hour at a time. Unless you just sit them down in front of a movie all the time. And that's really worst sort of parenting ever. Although it's occasionally I let them do it. I mean, that's how I got an episode of Skyrim done today. I did let them sit down in front of the TV for an hour and a half, 2 hours, while I got an episode of Skyrim recorded. Not because I needed one, but because I hadn't played for a week and I didn't want to forget where the hell I was. And you get that, then it's really annoying sometimes if I'm on holiday and there'll be like 3 weeks between an episode or something, and you guys will be like, "Because you already did this, like the last episode you did this," and I'm like, "Yeah, that was almost a month ago for me now." So, but yeah, so that's what vodka is for, kids. Oh dear. They used to put this. We used to have this thing in England called gripe water. The Americans call them pacifiers. We call them dummies, and people used to just dunk the dummies in it. This stuff called gripe water. It helps with teething. It helps take the pain away from teething when they suck on the dummy with this gripe water on it. Only it turns out the gripe water is something like it's like aniseed or some flavoring with vodka. It's like, okay, we're actually reducing the pain. We're just knocking them out. So they don't do that anymore. That's not allowed anymore. Might explain a lot about me though. So yeah. So yes. Is there anything else I need to talk about before we go? Don't think there is actually. There's not been any game. Oh, I've not started playing Doom Eternal yet. I've not bought it. I've still not bought the latest Jedi Star Wars game, even though I wanted to play that. I did buy Borderlands 3, but we've not got around to playing that. We were going to play the Borderlands 2 DLC, but we found out that Quarico can't because she gets stutters. For all of we know, I can't play it either, but she said she booted it up and just got unplayable stutters, so we can't finish the Borderlands 2 DLC that supposedly transitions to Borderlands 3. What else? I have started playing Halo Combat Evolved a little bit on the side, and I'm enjoying that. Actually, I'm enjoying that. So a lot easier than Reach, mostly because there's an awful lot less random grenades and AOE stuff going on. But yeah. It's good though. I'm enjoying it. I like the atmosphere. Can't stand the fact that I can't sprint. Very annoying. Very annoying. How many parts the NV modding series will have? Difficult to say. The original plan was 6, but it might be 7 now. It might be 7. There's a theme for each one, and the 5th one's done, as long as it doesn't get bloody well copyright claimed again. The 6th one, though, I think I'm going to do 2 more. I don't really have a lot left to teach, I think, for episodes 6 and 7, but I wanted to discuss different types of mods. The first 5 episodes, I got certain techniques and lessons I wanted teaching. I got just what I'm thinking at the moment is part 6 will be equipment, specifically weapons. But there's not really a lot I need to show you guys at that point. It's kind of like at that point I'm beginning to feel like I'm mod showcasing, and that's not what a tutorial series is about. I'm not coming up with a recommended mod list. I'm trying to teach people how to mod their games. But I kind of want to cover equipment because it's a fairly important subject. I want to hammer home the idea that you probably don't want to be removing those mods, because there are some mods you can remove in Fallout New Vegas. Equipment mods are not amongst them. At least they're not easy to remove. You can, but I wouldn't suggest it. Especially things like WMX, which, if you're not careful, will crash your game. So yeah, I would generally say don't do it. But then I also wanted to cover quest and follower mods. But again, I don't really want to necessarily showcase them, and I don't feel like at this point I need to teach people how to install them. But I wanted to touch base with beginners about the sort of quest mods they can find, and why they might want to, and also the fact that you don't bloody uninstall them. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like the last two videos are probably going to be less tutorially and a bit more infomercially, I guess. Like, not quite showcasey, but it'll be like right, yeah, these are the sort of mods you can get. And I may show them, I may even install some of them and I'll show you them, but it'll be more about, because each of the videos so far has had a theme. Number 1 was bug fixes, stability, performance, etc. Number 2, user interface. Number 3, textures, shading, lighting. Basic improvements, nothing too much. And also, there's always been a sub message. There's always I've got a lesson that's not necessarily explicit. So, for example, the one with the episode 3. The lesson there wasn't so much about how you can install textures, but trying to get people to think about how many textures they should use, what quality textures they should use, don't overload your system, that sort of thing. In the 4th episode, I wasn't just trying to show people you could do gameplay mods. I was also trying to get over the concept that you need to consider mods from the point of view of how active the mod authors are. And like pros and cons. So in each one, I'm trying to have something that makes people better modders. For 6 and 7, it's probably just more about, hey, this is the sort of thing you can do. You should probably do it and enjoy. Just don't uninstall them. So yeah. After that, I'm probably not finished with tutorials. Not even Fallout New Vegas tutorials. I've got plans for several other things, but I've got the tutorial bug back. Plus, I have time to do it when I can't do anything else. So, there you go. If someone is interested, Fallout 76 is on Steam. Why you might want to install New Vegas Bounty series and never uninstall it. Well, yeah, I mean, really, that's the thing. I mean, you might want to play it because it's brilliant, but some people tend to think of things like that. Well, I've played it now, I could remove it. And, I want to talk about how that'd be a bad idea. Not just because you'd lose the nice, cool weapons, but also it can really screw your save up. So, Outward just announced their new DLC. Okay, brilliant. Any plans with another outing with Jack? I don't know. Maybe. It's possible. I am wanting to play Frontier. Tutorial for modding KCD to get people interested in it. I don't know how to mod KCD. I'd need to learn it first. So, You can't ever uninstall a mod once installed. Well, okay. See. I'm going to say something now that gets me in a lot of trouble with certain mod authors. You can. You can uninstall mods, and some of the mods you can uninstall quite safely. The trick is knowing which ones, and the vast majority of people don't know which ones. And indeed, because of Skyrim, very often people guess the wrong ones when they go back to Fallout New Vegas. Yeah, so texture mods. Texture mods are quite safe to uninstall. Quest mods, absolutely not. Quest mods, just no. Quest mods, but equipment mods as well, especially mods that add weapon mods to mods, WMX, things like that. For God's sake, don't uninstall that. Oh, because if you do and you open a container that contained a weapon that you modded with that, boy, are you in trouble. Mods that alter the nav mesh. To be honest with you, more or less mods that alter anything that can be stored in the save. Well, no, anything in the save. Now, any mod with an ESP you really can't. Again, not necessarily true, but the reason I'm always reluctant to say that is because, as a general rule, yes, if it's got an ESP, don't uninstall it. It's one of those things of what I would say to people is, if you don't know what it does, don't uninstall it. If it's got an ESP and you don't know exactly what it does and how it does it, don't uninstall it. But there are some ESPs you can, mods with ESPs that you can actually remove without any worries whatsoever, because it doesn't get baked into your save. And believe it or not, for Fallout New Vegas, there's a lot more mods you can uninstall than, say, for Skyrim, because New Vegas doesn't bake scripts into your save, for example, which is one of the things that happened in Skyrim and why Skyrim suddenly had a save crisis right after its release, because most of us didn't realise that. So yeah, it's a complicated issue, but the rule of thumb is if it's got an ESP, don't remove it. That is the rule of thumb. If it's got an ESP, don't remove it. But even then, for example, something doesn't need an ESP in Skyrim to be dangerous to uninstall, because you can have mods that change scripts in Skyrim that don't come with an ESP. It's possible. I'm not sure why you'd need one, but it is possible. And I could actually make a mod that contains a script with no ESP that, if you removed, would have a harmful effect. So, you know. Yeah. So this is it. But like basically, so yeah. So whilst I'm saying like, yeah, you can do it, I would never recommend it. And the usual thing is, there's very little reason to do it anyway. Most people do not have a save that goes on for years and years and years. I mean, really, most people play for a month, 2 months, and then they start a new playthrough. Just get a whole new set of mods then, right? You don't. It's very rare you'll have a character that you've gone on for long enough where you actually want to remove mods. So just don't do it. Disabling an ESP is the same as removing it. Yes, that is removing it. Well, yeah, some people do. I mean, obviously, I have characters that hang around for years, right? I mean, some people do, but as a general rule, most people don't even need to think about this. You know, your Legacy of the Dragonborn, you want to try version 5, just start a new bloody character, right? It's just, it's for me, it's a little harder, and I'm willing to take a few more risks, but I wouldn't ever recommend anyone ever do as I do, sort of thing. You just killed a character you've been playing from 2018 because you had to reinstall and some mods were gone from the Nexus. Yep. That's one of the things, isn't it? Right. Most people have long-term saves. Oh, you probably have some saves you keep, but honestly, you know, usually you don't remove a mod while playing that save. You normally remove it after you've played that save and you've done a new one. And maybe you want to go back to that save and carry on with it, and you've deleted the mod and now you're in trouble. But, you know, do as I say, not as I do, right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do as I say, not as I do. The actual rule is do as I say unless you're perfectly willing to accept all of the consequences, and those consequences might be horrible, and you don't blame it on the mod author. That's the actual rule. Because I tell everyone else to read the manual. I never read the manual. I am one of these people who has a real hard time reading walls of text and actually absorbing any information if I'm not interested. Or like not interested, it's the wrong way to put it. If it doesn't fire my imagination. I mean, I can read like a book, a story or something like that, or a well-written historical account or something like that, because my imagination's going along with it. But if it's just like a wall of text of like a fact type thing, my brain just goes. I don't learn that way. I am the person who learns by opening it up and poking it. That's how I learn. I also accept that there are other people who are like that. It's kind of why I make video tutorials, because I think for people like that, they will sometimes learn more if they just watch someone do it. If, like, so they'll watch me. I might even be going too slow for them. I might be going like 10 times slower than they need, but it's like they need to see it happen. So there's different ways of learning. But the other thing for me is whenever I try a new mod, one of the things I'm evaluating at the back of my mind is how easy is this to figure out as I go along? Can I figure this out without reading the instructions? And I've always been like that. I have always been like that. I get IKEA furniture. I'd love to look at it and think, can I figure this out without the bloody diagrams? It's my nature. But it's also how I learn best. So, right. Yeah, no, we should end this. We should definitely end this. We're going for like an hour and 7 minutes now. We're a bit over. We haven't really covered anything, though. We've not covered any game news. But yeah, all right. So I am intending to play Doom Eternal. But that's it. Let's call it. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about the problems I'm having with darkness and so on, and coming up with suggestions. It's actually been quite helpful, actually. So, yes. Thank you very much for listening to me. I will see you guys probably Sunday.